I love Persona 5, but I will never play it again. Over my summer semester of college, I was assigned a narrative speech that described what I did over quarantine. Being a video essayist and a fan of JRPGs, I, of course, told the story of how Persona 5 changed my views on the video game medium as a whole. This essay is partially based on that speech. Before I discovered Persona 5, I had hardly ever played any single-player games. Playing alone was something I couldn't understand the appeal of. How could I laugh and enjoy myself if I wasn't playing with my friends? However, the true reason I refused to play single-player games was that I never actually attempted to play a good single-player game. For me, video games were just a form of mindless entertainment for me to waste away hours of free time with my friends. Before Persona 5, I didn't go to a video game to immerse myself in a story. I read books for that. Before Persona 5, I didn't go to a video game to view the talent and hard work of an amazing artist. I looked at paintings and other art for that. Before Persona 5, I didn't go to a video game to listen to wonderful music. I listened to albums for that. Another reason for me seemingly always avoiding single-player games was that they often required large time investments to finish. Persona 5 was definitely no exception to this rule. But then, suddenly, I found myself with an ungodly amount of free time. I'm one of those people who, before Joker was announced for DLC in Smash, knew nothing about Persona, or even that it existed. At the time, I was slowly crawling out of a personal struggle in my life where cynicism clouded most of my judgment and empathy was something I lacked. I covered this personal struggle in a series of 3 different essays called my Indifference Trilogy, so I won't go into much detail here. When I saw Joker's character design, I was instantly intrigued. I wanted to know exactly what Persona 5 was about. I hyped myself up and excitedly prepared myself to finally play all the way through a single-player game. Unfortunately, there was a roadblock. I did not have a PS4 or a PS3. I started watching a playthrough of the game, but my desire to actually play the game made me quickly lose interest in watching someone else play it. Then, I found a way to emulate the game on my PC. It took a few days for me to actually get the emulation set up, but once I did, I sat down and played through the first hour or 2 in one sitting. After that, I hardly touched the game at all. I simply didn't have time to play it, and I had almost forgotten I even had the game. That was until 2020 rolled around. With the quarantine, I finally had the time and motivation to sit down and play the game. As I played through Persona 5, I became so immersed that it didn't feel like I was playing a game anymore. It felt like I was actually there, experiencing the wonderful story with all of these 2D characters I called friends. Joker is unnamed, has very few voice lines, and with the exception of his Phantom Thief outfit, has a very boring character design. He's a boring character, yet he's still my favorite character in the entire game. Why? Because for the 200 hours I spent playing Persona 5, I was Joker. Joker is designed in a very specific way to make it easy to project yourself onto him. Learning to project myself onto a character taught me the basic principle of empathy, putting yourself in another person's position. Not only that, but I also learned how to immerse myself into a story, regardless of what form of media I was using to experience that story. I know this is going to sound very lonely when I say this, but for those 200 hours on Ryuji, Morgana, Futaba, Haru, Yusuke, Makoto, Akechi, and the other confidants, they were my friends. I had projected myself on a Joker to the point that all of the characters truly felt like my real friends. The fact that not every confidant could be maxed out in the given time of the game stressed the importance of my relationships with my friends in real life. Although I did use a mod menu to loop days and max out everyone's confidant anyway, the mechanic still taught me that relationships are vital to everyone's life, no matter how indifferent, introverted, or extroverted you are. You need them, I need them, we all need them. I realized that I needed my friends, and they needed me too. It inspired me to rebuild the relationships I had with a lot of different people that would have otherwise completely faded out of my life or even fallen apart. After I finished Persona 5, I sat back in my chair and sighed. I realized that the story was over, and that I had to finally say goodbye to all of the characters as if they were real people I knew. The credits rolled, and I looked back on the experience I had through the game. The emotion I felt I can only describe as a combination of awe, melancholy, and nostalgia. It was a strange feeling in my heart, one that I had not experienced in quite some time. When I looked back, I didn't think, wow, what a great game. No, I thought, wow, those 9 months were a lot of fun. It truly felt like I had experienced every single day with those characters by my side, experiencing it with me. We all laughed, cried, and smiled together. It wasn't just a game to me, it was a journey. This doesn't exactly encapsulate how I feel about Persona 5, but the best way for me to explain it is that when I look back on it, I feel similarly to how I feel when looking back on high school. I feel a similar emotion when I look back on family vacations I've been on, or when I look back on my experiences through space camp, or when I look back on my time in drama club after the performance of our final play for the year. Although this feeling makes my heart feel a little heavy, I love it. I wouldn't trade this feeling for anything in the world. And that is why I will never play Persona 5 again. It's not because I hate the game, or because I physically can't play it. It's because I don't want the game to feel like it was a game. Persona 5 has helped me grow as a person so much that I will never let go of this feeling I have. I want it to feel like a memory, something I experienced that helped shape who I am today. When I watch or hear about other people playing the game, it always confuses me that they can refer to the game in such a shallow manner, referring to my friends as characters and my memories as a story. Some people have played through the game multiple times, calling each replay a run. They make a conscious decision on whether or not they should do a harem run, or a Makoto run, or an arson-only run. I just cannot understand that mindset when playing Persona. The characters felt so real to me. So much so that it almost hurts to hear them referred to in such a simple way. In other words, the reason I will never play Persona 5 again is because I'm afraid. I'm afraid that if I replay this game, the feelings I'm clinging to will vanish, and my perspective of the game will be sobered. I don't want that. Persona 5 stole my heart with a gradually fleeting emotion that I do not want to let go of. Maybe someday that emotion will slip from my grasp entirely. But until then, I will keep looking back on my experience in Persona 5 with the same awe, melancholy, and nostalgia that I always have.